Hi, Mike Carroll with Intelligent Conversations with another sales management best practice quick video. Today I want to talk about how to establish a culture of accountability and how to create better motivation across sales organizations by using a goals-based coaching program. Many times when we walk into a company and we look at the type of planning they've done, we see all sorts of sales goals. We'll see territory plans and number of net new accounts per sales rep, and we'll see general revenue growth goals and average profit margin goals. Maybe there's some recurring revenue goals or revenue retention goals. All of those types of things are very important, and I'm assuming that companies that are watching this type of video are going to already have those in place. What I want to talk about is the power of also incorporating a conversation between sales manager and the salesperson about that salesperson's personal goals. When you can get your sales organization and every individual in your organization to begin to see your company as the means through which they can achieve their personal goals, you have an entirely different kind of conversation. You create an entirely different level of motivation. Most people can't really relate to a corporate goal of wanting to improve EBITDA by 2%, but if they can relate the work they're doing for you with a goals-based coaching program, and they can start to see how the work they're doing for you translates into something that they're going to accomplish, it's an entirely different level of conversation. Let me tell you an example. One of our clients is in a fairly transactional inside sales organization, and the manager went through this very program. And one of the things that a young dad who was an inside sales rep, pretty high performer, consistently in the top quartile of the team, one of the things this dad wanted to do is he wanted to be able to coach his son's Little League team in the spring. And this is in Northern Illinois, so that was, baseball season was really mid-April to mid-June. And so what this manager did, once they understood that personal goals, they said, let's look at, getting you ahead of quota by the end of March. Let's really double down on first quarter activities so that we can get you ahead of plan, so that when it comes to mid-April, when you're leaving 2 or 3 days a week early to go to baseball practice, you're not distracted by work, and you're able to focus on your son and your son's baseball team. And so what they did is they put a plan together. They said, here's where you need to be by the end of March. And sure enough, once that salesperson understood what they were doing, they actually got to 125% of quota before the end of the first quarter. Then they slid a little bit during the baseball season. He was leaving early 2 or 3 days a week. He was taking off early on Fridays so he could go to games, etc. But he was able to stay still 110% of quota through the second quarter. The habits and work ethic that he developed in the first quarter to get ahead of plan so he could comfortably focus on his son's baseball team stuck with him throughout the entire year. And he actually ended up the entire year at about 120% of plan. So just a subtle example of how focusing on a personal goal and changing a few work habits, working a little bit differently, being a little bit more efficient with his calls, being a little bit more proactive, coming in a little bit earlier, it would have been hard to accomplish that 125% goal without tying it to that deep personal motivator that he had of wanting to spend time with his family and do something for his son. So that's just a quick example of how a goals-based coaching program, where you tie in not just business metrics and net new revenue and net new meetings and all of that kind of stuff, but also tying it back to a personal goal. Other examples, there may be somebody who has financial aspirations. They want to save for college, for their children. They may have an aspiration for a dream vacation, for a second home or a cottage. Whatever their goals are, we want our salespeople to be massively successful. We want them to have the house on the lake with the boat and all the other toys. And we want our incentive programs to get them there, because if they're getting there, we know that we're performing as well. Think about the kind of conversations your managers are having with their people right now, and think about how can they incorporate goals-based coaching and include personal goals into those conversations, and watch what happens to both motivation and also to accountability. When a manager can have that lever to pull and say, look, I'm holding you accountable to this higher standard, not because of the company goal, but because you told me you want this outcome. It's a whole different conversation. I encourage you to, if you're not already doing it, look at how you might implement that in your organization. Mike Carroll with Intelligent Conversations. Thank you for listening. Good luck and good selling.